still. Capoch going to take a lead here shortly if CatZ is not able to ward him off here at the front door. Lots of good force fields coming down for Capoch, keeping those speedlings sort of trapped. Right there was a really good spot where a bunch of speedlings basically had to kill that zealot in order to be useful. And finally they come out and start killing off the remaining forces of Capoch. CatZ actually getting a little bit of a beneficial swing here, able to push Capoch back just a little bit, and he is bringing a drone over now and has to kill off this creep tumor to try and make room for a hatchery. He is going to be able to build it right there, and he's got, what, 3 queens, a couple of spine crawlers, and still a lot of speedlings ready to help defend this newly dropped hatchery. So it's up to Capoch now to sort of either try and kill this off or keep warping in units. You know, CatZ trying to catch up economically is going to give Capoch some time to either tech up. Oh, I just saw on the production tab a spire completed, so CatZ was building that spire that whole time while dropping the natural, and now these zealots and sentries able to block off that ramp. Oh, all these speedlings stuck behind the force field. Excellent placement by Capoch. He's going to be able to chain that with all those sentries and be able to kill off a couple of queens, a spine crawler, at least one spine crawler, and if he's able to keep dropping force fields, he will be able to kill this hatchery no problem. Wow, great use of force fields by Capoch to kill off that hatchery and keep his economic advantage. He is only mining right there, no gas yet at the natural, but if we check the income tab briefly, Capoch is way ahead on minerals and about even on gas, and even with the same number of harvesters, CatZ has been cranking out drones. He's got 42 drones working on one base, which, you know, 25 to 30 is plenty for one base, so he really needs to get that expansion to be able to keep up. And spine crawlers being dropped at the base of the ramp here, trying to keep all the speedlings in a spot where they won't be force fielded and rendered useless, but you know, either side that they get caught on, they're going to be not too effective because these zealots are just going to mow right through them, murder them relentlessly, and if they get caught up here, obviously they can't do anything. So these much stronger zealots are going to be able to keep killing these zerglings as he makes them. But oh, look down here, CatZ bringing around a couple of mutalisks to try and do some offensive of his own, finally breaking out of his base, this contain that Capoch has set up all game. And a couple of probes going down. Capoch very quick to react, warping in 5 stalkers right at the mineral line at his main, so these 5 mutas are going to have to start running around. Oh, there's a robotics facility dropped at some point too for Capoch, so CatZ actually has his muta selected. He is paying more attention to them than his front door right now, but he is bringing another drone out to try and get this hatchery. He thinks that Capoch is maybe overreacting to these mutas and gonna leave him alone for a little bit, and you know, these sentries actually do very well against mutalisks, but I would love to see a guardian shield, as you know, these bouncing attacks of mutalisks do count as ranged attacks, so any guardian shield would make them so much weaker against this tier 1 composition of Capoch. But CatZ has a lot of mutalisks up now and only 1 stalker to help fight him off at the moment. CatZ finally getting able to break free of his front door and is chasing these zealots across the map with his muta army. Capoch with so many gateways, though, able to warp in just a ton of stalkers at home. He was basically bringing him back home on purpose to go eventually meet up with these stalkers. You know, he was warping them in back here early so that he could get another warp gate cooldown and warp in more and more, waiting for these mutas to arrive. And he does have a couple of cannons already building. 1 completes right here and is going to be able to kill that mutalisk. Wow, so CatZ losing a mutalisk, losing his basically very short-lived air advantage. This pylon of Capoch still here, hanging out at this 3rd expansion area of CatZ. He's going to need to take that out at some point. Otherwise, Capoch can just walk this army of zealots and stalkers back over to the front door and start warping in even more. But looks like speedling and mutas are the flavor of the day for CatZ. I'm going to switch back to the production tab and see that some corruptors are coming out. That is to counter this robotics bay that he saw in Capoch's base. Capoch is building 1 Colossus, and of course corruptors absolutely murder Colossi because they do bonus damage versus massive units, and Colossi can't hit back. So CatZ's going to start working away on these rocks and try and get this pylon down once and for all. good move by CatZ. He does have a little bit of breathing room right now. He's building spine crawlers all over the place. You might even want a couple more queens for more transfusions. Might be a good idea. This minerals at his main arm totally mined out now, so it's really, really good that he was able to get that natural. And a Hydralisk stand coming up now as well for a little bit of army variety. Oh, and another pylon of Capoch was built over here and able to be taken out by these mutas. So the rock's almost broken down now totally. Oh, Capoch is on the move. He's got lots of stalkers, lots of zealots, and a colossus moving across the field now towards CatZ's front door. Again, there are a ton of spine crawlers, lots of mutalisk. I'm going to keep the mutas highlighted here because they are a very important part of this fight. If they can manage to take out all the anti-air, CatZ will be in a huge position here. And lots of queens coming down now too. Watch for transfusions during this fight. He may or may not have the presence of mind to do it in this huge battle, but these zealots cleaving right through the queens, spine crawlers, and zerglings here. The ground units all have +1 attack, and I believe that nothing of CatZ does yet. He has not had an Evo chamber on the ground all game, and all these drones trying to run away. CatZ basically left with no army. Capoch still has a dozen stalkers and a sentry on the offensive, so being able to warp in more units basically right outside the front door is going to keep Capoch in this position to keep destroying this natural over and over again. And since he was mined out here at his main, when CatZ loses this expansion, he loses the game. So very well played by Capoch, and let's move on to game 2.